Welcome to the FitBiz Journey Podcast, Episode 11. I am so excited we are here in Arizona because we are here at the GST conference when Felicia Romero just spoke about how to get on the news more than, what was it, 4 or 5 times?
4 to 6 times a month, yeah.
4 or 6 times a month. Mm-hmm. So I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Loved your presentation. It
Thank
was
you.
amazing.
Oh, thank
I
you.
took lots of notes and I am going to go home and take action, by the way, on all of them. This is why I wanted to have you here sit down, because I really want to talk about and help out business owners, gym owners, personal trainers,
Hey.
how to get on the news, how to get some segments, and literally just how and why you should put your name out there.
Absolutely. Well, I think, with PR, I think a lot of people are afraid of it just because they think, oh, you have to have a big following or you have to be well known to be on the news, and that is furthest from the truth. What is really going to get you on the news is, number one, ideas. Number one, creating networks and relationships with news anchors and television stations. And number 3, persistence. And really putting it out there and not being afraid of being told no, so yeah.
So when was the first time when you got your, let's say, I guess, first local feature?
Yeah, the first local feature was 2012, and it was actually a transformation story on a client that I had, and he'd lost, over 160 pounds, and Fox 10 had picked it up. I pitched the idea like, hey, this man, was 320 pounds, went down to 175, 180 pounds, and he was just this amazing inspirational story. He was a struggling single dad, and after losing all that weight, he found his love and got married, and it was such an awesome story, and I felt like everyone needed to hear it. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to the local news stations, and Fox had picked it up, and that's what kind of landed me my first story.
Wow, but and just to keep it in mind for the listeners, you actually pitched the story, right?
I did, yeah. So I put down the ideas, I created a press release, I sent it to producers, and to create those relationships. And what I talked about today in my presentation is creating authentic relationships with these anchors and journalists and producers by social media. I know there can be a lot of negative things about social media, but there's also a lot of positive. And the one thing that we have to remember we're all people. These producers and anchors and journalists are people just like us, so don't be afraid to reach out. And I think the number one reason why, a lot of people become successful and to be able to do those things is because they take action. And the only way that we're going to create opportunities for ourselves to be on television, 4 to 6 times a month, is to take action, which creates momentum, which creates this opportunity for us.
Yeah, that's amazing feedback already. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned also that, well, 2 things. One, these are not paid segments.
No.
These are, exactly. And most people, when they see you on the news, even when they got on the news or got on the doctor's TV show, people always said, I hear them, not clients, but
right.
Clients never think that way.
Right.
But but other business owners were like, oh, those are paid. It's easy to get on paid. But that's they're speaking because they're jealous of your success.
Yeah, exactly. And it's easy to kind of, not really understanding someone's story, or, when people look at successful people, it's easy to say, oh, well, it came easy to them because they were given the money, or, they don't see all of the struggle in between. I can't even tell you how many times I've been told no. Yeah. So many times. I mean, so many times that you would actually think that, oh, most people are like, oh, I'm just going to give up on that. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be told our whole lives, but we're also going to get yeses. And those yeses will lead to more yeses. And the key is to not give up.
Yes, and so you mentioned social media. That's how you get in touch with them and follow them in your speech too. Mm-hmm. So how would you recommend to reach out to any news anchors or locals or bigger on social media? How would you do that?
So basically, kind of what I did and what I've helped coach other people who want to do the same thing is to let's say it's Twitter or Instagram. Twitter's really easy as well. So you go and you look at, let's say, whatever your local news station is. For us, it's Fox 10 Arizona. Follow Fox 10 Arizona. Then what pops up is all of the people associated with Fox 10 Arizona. Mm-hmm. So the anchors and journalists and newscasters, you start following them as well. That's the first step. The second step is to create engagement. So retweeting some of their things, maybe they'll follow you back, and you start, hey, thanks for the follow. So, or ask them a question to get them to respond back to you.
So never just literally, because what most people do, and I see this all the time, they don't even follow, they just click on message and then try to pitch them right away.
No, you don't want to do that. No, I would never ever pitch right away. You want to create, really hone in on that relationship, create it, nurture it, never ask for something, always provide if you can first, with, really authentic engagement and interaction and things like that. And I wouldn't even pitch in, I would wait even a couple weeks to ever say, hey, I have this idea. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So that's why you mentioned, I think, in your slides, so that you plan ahead, for example, Thanksgiving or what was other holidays, New Year's.
Halloween, New Year's, Super Bowl snacks. A really important thing also too about PR is to always have ideas ready, because again, a lot of these news organizations want ideas.
Yeah.
They need ideas, so the easier we can make their job, the better. So I always come up with 5 to 6 pitching ideas. I would say half of them are scrapped and like, oh, that's not going to work. The other half, like, yeah, let's do that. Let's move forward with this, So we definitely, I like to go based on, number one, current events. So what's going on in the fitness world? Is there a new workout trend? Is there a new gym that's out? Is there some sort of new, like something that's different that you may, people may not know? And the other is just typical ideas, maybe questions that you might get a lot of, like maybe a lot of your clients are like, man, I'm bloated all the time. How can I get rid of my bloat? Well, here you go. You're answering those questions. So here are my top 5 tips on how to conquer bloat. This is how you do it. And then you have props available so people can see that. So just always be able to like give information and it's kind of like social media, how it's all content driven. That's how the news organizations are as well. They're content driven. They need content.
And now, let's say you get these features, right? And just like you mentioned, you can use it for your clients and create content for your clients.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do you use it once you get featured? What do you do with it?
Yeah. So what I do with that, so I'll just give you an example of one that I use as a fitness trend for 2018 is this whole intermittent fasting. Everybody's just talking about it. It's everywhere. People are Googling it. So I'm like, you know what? This is everywhere. So I'm going to, not only am I going to be on the news talking about this, I'm going to turn this into an ad. So, which basically gets like, intake forms, and I get clients in and things like that, because I do a lot of online training, which is great for even regular gyms as well. They can do this with their, facility as well, is they take that ad or that segment and they turn it into a Facebook ad. From that ad, you can retarget, things like that, people who have looked into dieting, into intermittent fasting, into whatever. And then from that ad, you can create a call to action, whether it's for lead generation or if you want to get them in and like talking to the studio or get them into your gym, having them fill out an intake form or whatever your lead generation source is. And that's a huge way to get a huge amount of like lead gen, and it really helps because people are already looking at that anyways. And now you're seen on the news as an authority figure on intermittent fasting. They're going to want to talk to you,
sure.
So they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, wow, she's on the news talking to my favorite news anchor. I trust this person, so it creates
instant credibility.
And you're going to get more and more clients that way.
Yeah, and most people think that they get on the news sometimes, and they get on the news after they're like, oh, I didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
But that's because they didn't leverage that news.
They didn't leverage. You have to leverage everything. Yeah. That's where, all of these things, why do it if you're not going to leverage it? You know what I mean? Because being on TV is fun, but it's, if it's not going to bring back anything in return, then what is it worth? Especially for your business. So you always have to leverage.
And you have, because now you went into just so our audience knows that you also had your own studios, right? And then you have sold all of them?
Yes.
Or you sold all of them, and now you're 100% online coaching.
100% online coaching.
So in your case, especially content is king. So that's one thing. I feel like that getting on the news is credibility and also to lure all the people in.
Absolutely.
But then if you don't have content, they're gonna leave, right? Because there's nothing for them to watch more of you.
Yeah, you absolutely. You have to continue adding value. It can't always be, even though sales is such an important part of gaining clients and gaining members and things like that, you also have to, again, I'm going to go back to authenticity. You have to create value. You have to get people to trust you and want to listen, but you also got to give a lot of free information as well.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Because again, it's out there, you want to offer as much value, and why are these people following you? It can't always be a sales pitch, so.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Can we touch base a little bit on that free content? Because so many people in business owners I talk to also, they literally would say to social media that, oh, I don't want to deal with social media because I don't know my ROI, I don't know how much, I don't want to invest time because there's no money in it. That's what they still think.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So often. And then, just like you mentioned, you put out lots of content, and not every single content has do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? So he always says like jab, 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 and right hook or whatever.
Right.
So the same thing with this. I assume you do the same or similar, that you don't try to sell every single thing. You just push content out, right?
Yeah. You push content, you gain people's trust, and then after you gain their trust, it doesn't look as salesy. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna like unfollow you or unsubscribe to your newsletter because you've gained their trust. They see who you are. They know you, or they feel like they do. I can't tell you how many like ladies, have come up to me at different conferences, things like that, because they've followed me and I've been, value driven and content driven, that they feel, my story is similar to theirs. Oh my gosh, I just love your story because I feel like I can relate, because I am vulnerable and try to be as transparent as I can with my struggles with my body and the things that I used to struggle with my health, and I was 160 pounds at my heaviest, and I'm vocal about that. I'm like, hey, I was a fitness model, but then all of a sudden I like gained all this weight and was not happy with myself, and a lot of people can relate to that. So if you can show vulnerability, but you can show also triumph, like how you conquered it, people love that too, because then they're like, I can do it too, and when the more you offer that, and then I come back like the right hook to, hey, I have this awesome online program, I know I can help you because I've been in your shoes. Well, they know that I've been in their shoes because I've already built that up. I've already shown them that I was there. Yeah. And then I tell them that what I can help them with.
And also, I think the reason why you're so successful, and then you're also switched, I guess, businesses, you could say.
Right.
Because now you're 100% online, is because you truly want to focus on helping people.
Absolutely.
Right?
It was my true passion. Having a business, you're spread so thin, as you know, and if that's what you love to do, awesome. Follow that. If you love having those businesses and you love the overhead, you love the numbers and the P&Is and P&Ls and, hiring and firing employees. And if you love that, awesome. Yeah. I did not love it.
Okay.
I like being down in the trenches with helping people, and I had to pull away from coaching. I couldn't coach as much because I had to worry about over here. So I started to kind of pull away little by little, but I was also pulling away from things that I love to do.
I truly understand what you said, because I'm exactly what you are, but the opposite side. So I'm on the other side, that I love to do exactly the opposite what you just said, and I don't like to do the other side.
Right.
So I 100% understand what you're talking about, and I
Yeah.
went through the same thing, but the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So can you share with some of our listeners that your latest features, the one that you are the most proud of, you mentioned some when you were out there, and then also I guess your biggest accomplishments as the features and what you were able to accomplish with those features, that you were in control of the actual pictures too, and not like in the past when they told you what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been on, like big covers, like an Oxygen magazine, national exposure, things like that. And those were all great, and I'm thankful for them, and I'm very grateful for that time in my life. But I would say, and I mentioned it in my presentation, my last cover, which was for Scottsdale Health, which is just a local magazine here. But there was something special about that cover for me, because I did it 2 years after I got my last cover, 2 years after I thought, I didn't really need fitness modeling. Like I wanted to not define myself by my body anymore, but I wanted to be a voice in fitness. And I was so caught up in that world for so long, that fitness competition world, and looking a certain way and always having to, compete and model and be in magazines, and if I wasn't doing that, then I was failing. And to get out of that mindset, I had to transition into what was really important, and for me it was my health and being comfortable in my own skin. So that cover for me, the last one, I was not my emaciated 115 pounds show weight where I was just lean, which is fine for that time, but that's not maintainable or sustainable for a healthy life. And I had a slew of health issues, and that cover for me signified health, signified curves, signified comfortable in my own skin, signified strength, and also too something that I manifested. With Mike Arce, as you know, I would write down my goals, and I was like, you know what? I know this is going to sound weird, but I want to be on another magazine cover. He's like, nope, that's not weird at all. Write it down, And I'm like, okay, I'm like, I don't want people to see that. He's like, don't care what people think. Like who, and I was always so afraid of like, what are people going to think if I write this number down or this down? You know what? You have to I think we all get stuck in our own heads, and we get so afraid to release things or talk about things because we're afraid of what others are going to think. But you don't realize how many people you're actually helping, you know? And so I put that out there, and 5 months later, I got that cover. I feel like I manifested it into my life. In a place where I was healthy, and no one was dictating how I looked, or I didn't feel self-conscious. I felt good about my body, and it was a huge accomplishment for me, you know, especially not fitness modeling for a while, you know.
Yeah, and let's talk about the goal, because I found it very interesting that, so he made you post it to Snapchat?
Yeah,
Was it Snapchat?
Snapchat every day.
Every day, yeah.
My top 5 goals, boop, every morning, post it every day.
And you have accomplished all of them, is that right?
Yeah,
Or-
I've accomplished all of them. I would even get people that would Snapchat me back, hey, you're posting your goals, I want to do that too. Not even me asking them. It's like that habit created, you know, habit in other people as well. So they started doing, oh my gosh, you prompted me to want to put my goals down too, you know, and things like that. So it's really neat. It's neat to see, you know, because it really does. It's like who you surround yourself with, you're forced to like level up. And like even with the relationship with Mike, he's forced me to get out of my comfort zone. He is a great accountability partner because he's like, hey, what are you doing? Because I get in my own head where I sort of become down and depressed, and sometimes where I don't want to get out of bed sometimes, you know, and I feel like having him or having things that you're working towards, it forces you to get out of your own head and to realize that, you know, we are all in charge of our own life and our own happiness, and only we can do that, you know, only we can take that action. And that really, I don't really, you know, and when I get down, I don't stay down for too long. I get right back up and I hustle and keep going forward.
Awesome. So what would you give out as an advice for, let's say, a personal trainer who just starting out and doesn't know if he wants to open his own studio, or to a person or to a gym owner who already has its studio?
Okay.
Like, so let's say, you know, let's say a personal trainer and a business owner.
Okay.
Gym owner.
So an advice to a personal trainer,
Okay.
I would say, especially if they're a green trainer, learn as much as you can, and to know that, you know, you don't want to always, you know, it's one thing to, it's like you get those trainers that go in that are just know-it-alls, and that, nope, this way or the highway. You have to be able to adapt with your clientele, and you have to be able to adapt with like nutrition plans and workout plans, that there's not just one way to do things. And I feel like a lot of young trainers nowadays are so like, this is my way, this is how I'm going to do it, and versus like really thinking about what the client needs. And I see that with a lot of young trainers, you know, and it's very unfortunate.
That they don't care about what the client needs.
That they don't care what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really only caught in their own heads, or only do what they know, versus like educating themselves, learning more, you know, really finding what's best for this person. With a gym owner, I would say don't be afraid to delegate, and don't be afraid to fire. For many, many years, I was afraid to let go of people that were bad for the business, that can turn into viruses, because I was afraid of losing them and losing clients. I was afraid of change. I was afraid of like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? Because I'm a firm believer in, you know, fire fast, hire slow, and I've heard that many times, and it's so true. And I was always afraid of that, because I was always in this place of trying to please everybody, and you can't always be that way. And especially being a gym owner, you're always trying. I felt like I was always trying to please, like make everyone happy. Oh my God, I got to keep this person happy because I don't want them to cancel their membership. And I'm like, no,
You can do that.
I don't want to live that way. Like, you know what? They are getting a great gym, a great culture, a great workout. They're seeing results. Like, I had to change my mindset that I don't need them. They need me, you know? So.
Yeah, that was an amazing feedback on both sides, because I feel like every single gym owner and personal trainer go through that exact same issue that you just mentioned. So I'm very glad you said that.
Yeah, definitely.
So where, two things, where can people find you? On social media, online, or where can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, my website, FeliciaRomero.com. I have contact info there that they can just send me an email, or I'm very social, or active on social media. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Felicia Romero. I'm very responsive and try to, you know, provide as much info as I can, but also be responsive to people that reach out. So yeah, they can reach me on those places.
Awesome. And where are you stuck right now, or do you have any problems, or any way we or some of our listeners can help you?
Oh, wow. I would say, gosh, I wouldn't say I'm stuck. My thing is, being an online trainer, now going into my, 4th month of really consistently pushing on my online training, is to create sustainability. So in any business, so this could be even brick and mortar, this could be online, this could be in any type of business you're doing, is creating systems and processes that you can create that same consistency and income each and every month, and more, you know what I mean? Grow and continue to grow. That's where I'm kind of seeing the struggle is, you know, I hit the ground running, you know, creating, like I'm en route to a 6-figure income right now, you know, a 6-figure a year income. But can I keep that going? You know what I mean? Can I keep those systems and processes in place? So one of the biggest things for me right now is creating those processes for my online business. And I've hired a mentor, a business coach that I think is absolutely important. If you guys need a business, you have to hire a business coach or mentor.
Yes.
That is really going to help you level up in your business. If you're not investing in yourself or your business, it's not going to grow. You have to be able to invest in it. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's also very good. I hope everybody paid attention to that and listened to that, because that's amazing feedback. And thank you very much for taking your time.
Thank you for having me on. This was great.
Course.
Yeah, hopefully you guys like Arizona.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank
You got to open one of your gyms here.
Yeah, we will. We are planning on it, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.